Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Holden ZA and we're doing another tips and tricks series. I believe this is episode 4 with myself, Holden ZA. Let's get straight into it. So we're going to be doing the torque bow in this episode. The first thing we're going to be discussing is active reload versus non-active. Now you have a couple of advantages on each side as they'll be listed here. I want you to take note of the ridicule and how quick it comes up when you have an active reload compared to when it's a non-active reload. As you'll see now in the display, the active reload, you have to release it earlier, but you can get your draw up quicker on your active reload. Alright, next up we're going to be discussing Blindfire. So now Blindfiring is really cool with the torque bow due to one main reason, is that Blindfires go straight. If you don't believe me, you might as well test it out yourself, because when you're using a torque bow, you don't necessarily have to aim if you have a good sense of where the middle of your screen is and where your opposition is going to be. Cool thing about blind firing is that it allows you to move instead of having to holding your left hand trigger whilst aiming. Okay, aim to blind fire. Now aim to blind fire gives you a good idea of where your blind fire is going to land. So what you do is you hold down the left trigger, see where your ridicule is basically going to go, and then you just go into your blind fire and you'll successfully release the blind fire. It is usually a tiny bit lower than where your aim shot is. Alright, so some advanced shots that we are going to get into. One is the floor shot. So with a torque bow, you'll see as my opposition is around this corner, I don't really need to peg my opponent. I just aim at the floor and the damage is done. My opponent will be taken out. Now there's two methods to this. There's one pop method and one is just the hard aim floor method. Okay, here I will be taking out the torque bow, and as you see, I see the opponent rushing towards me, so I just release my torque bow straight away and opposition will walk onto the torque bow and I'll get the kill. As we see in slow-mo, I see the opposition coming. I just drop the torque bow by just tapping my right trigger and my opposition is none the wiser and gets taken out. Method 2. Here's a useful method when your torque bow is already charging to a moving opponent. If you're not going to be able to get the stick, you just aim on the ground and hopefully the opposition will walk into it. And that's going to lead us into point number 3. As you just saw in that shot, it is called the roll shot, aka the roly-poly is my favorite shot. I've been using it since Gears 1, and here's a basic description of what you need to do. You basically run forward, tap your right hand trigger, and then continue in your run, and you'll be doing a roly-poly. Here's from my perspective. If the opposition was chasing me, I just do that and take out the opposition behind me. Okay, here we're going to see it in in-game footage again. Here's the roly-poly shot. I see my opposition is around the cover, so I drop a roll and run away and take out the opponent. It's quite a cool kill and makes it look quite cool to spectators especially. And one key note is make sure you have an active reload. Active reloads to ground damage is very important, just because an active reload does that much more damage. Okay, now we're going to get into headshots. One cool thing about headshots with the torque bow is that it goes straight through the opponent's head and to whatever's behind them. There, for example, it was the wall. I'm not going to go over too much detail of headshots using the lead shot, Superman, all that kind of jazz. That's why I included the sniper in the bottom right hand corner. You guys can just go check out the headshot heights, and it pretty much applies for the exact same thing with the torque bow. And I think we are going to see a Superman now. Yep. As I said, I'll show you the shots, but if you want to learn about them, please go to the sniper tutorial just by clicking on that sniper on your bottom right hand side. Okay, now the bounce shot is one of my favorite shots. I have a lot of fun playing with this shot. It's basically when you don't fully charge your torque bow, so it doesn't stick to the wall, it rather bounces off of it. So you can use this in many different situations to try trick shot your opponent. These are just a couple of variances on how the bounce shot can be used in different angles. It all comes down to angles, and it depends on your creativity as a player. Say our position was on the right hand side of this cover, I could shoot this wall and hopefully take him out from the right hand side. It's a really fun shot to use, and when you pull it off, it's usually followed off with a couple of laughs. Now here's a little bit of examples. As I saw, the wall was behind where he was sitting, so I could effectively bounce it off against the wall and take on my opponent. And here's another example. He's behind that wall, so I bounce it against the top wall and boom, he gets taken out. It's a real fun shot to use. Anyway, that's it for this week's tips and tricks, guys. Please like, please subscribe, do all that kind of good stuff. I will catch you guys later. Please check out my channel to vote for next week's tips and tricks. Keep it real, guys. Cheers. Bye.